Candace Owens completely annihilates Nick Fuentes. As you guys know, earlier in the week, he was making excuses for Jeffrey Epstein, and he even went as far to say, well, he wasn't really a pedo. No, yes, he was. Somehow he's making it the argument that, oh, his connection to Israel and being a spy, which has not been proven, is the real issue, because it's not like he was messing with 5-year-olds. If you're under 18, you need to be put in jail. Let's go ahead and get into this clip. But first, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it, y'all. Listen, you know Nick has been coming for Candace Owens, and she finally claps back. Here we go.
However, Nick Fuentes is going to explain why actually that's not pedophilia. Take a listen.
This whole pedo thing, it's like, is it really pedophilia? I don't want to be the one that has to say it, but I guess I'm being forced to say it. It's not really pedophilia, okay? They weren't trafficking 5-year-olds. It was like they were technically not legal. Big difference, in my opinion. I know that's a controversial take, but that's not really the issue there. Okay.
I'm going to let it play, but I want to point out something. A little girl can have her cycle as early as 7 years old because of all the hormones and everything that we put in our food. So what? Would you consider that 7-year-old a grown adult? Come on now.
The issue is not that they were barely legal teens, which is what it is. It's horrendous. It's awful. It's pedophilia. Okay, relax. No, the issue is that Epstein is a Jewish spy, probably working with Israel. That's the dilemma there. He's working with Israeli intelligence.
Honestly, this is a time where it is appropriate to say this.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Agree. I watched that. Just stop right there. Why are we always here in society for no reason? How easy is it not to do that? Okay, not to try to use some technicality, which, by the way, who do you think is in control of these definitions, by the way? I mean, they are changing the definition of what it means to be a girl and a boy right now. So if you can find, well, look at this definition. Technically, if the person is 11, if the person's not under 5, who cares if they're prepubescent? The point is not pedophilia. We're just, we've expanded the definition. We're constantly expanding and changing definitions to confuse people against common sense, okay? If you are sexually interested in prepubescent children, you're a pedophile. How about that? Is that easy? Thumbs up? Cool? We good? And what is just so remarkable to me, and like I said, I've been fine with him doing his thing. Obviously, he's a federal informant. It's ridiculous for people that don't understand that. It's ridiculous that people just keep following him despite the overwhelming evidence. I mean, this guy took a meeting with Dan Wilkes' partner after years of screaming about Ben Shapiro and talking about Israel. He took a meeting with Defend Texas Liberty and Ferris Wilkes' partner, and pitched, they actually, one reporter got documents, was pitching to sell the data of his followers. And people were like, that's fine. He led people into a...
Now, I want to say that article says 2023, so it's in 2023. However, the fact that he was trying to sell his followers information, I don't like that. It don't that. Listen, that was only 3 years ago. It's still a problem today.
Capitol with a bullhorn and said, ignore police, storm the barriers, as if he had fed instructions. And we know for a fact he was informed the night before by Milo Yiannopoulos that the feds were going to beat, that there was some Fed trap happening. And despite that, he went with a bullhorn. He didn't just attend, he had a bullhorn, and he's telling people to storm, and he doesn't get arrested. And his lawyer wants to go off record when he's asked directly about whether or not he is a federal informant. It's been so in your face and obvious.
You know, there was a lot of connections with Nick Fuentes, Charlie Kirk, and a lot of people, all these right-winger podcasters, like they were all connected with that because a lot of them were there. So Nick Fuentes being a Fed, I can definitely see that. And we'll get into the raging homosexual thing in a minute. Don't worry, she gets there.
The ridiculous, oh, I just got $250,000 in Bitcoin from France from a guy who's killed himself and published a letter 24 hours after he was serving in France. French people don't speak perfect English. They are not writing a letter in English, even if they speak perfect English. It's just been.
Now, that story about the French guy, I do not know. However, it is on record that he did get a big Bitcoin donation for like $250K. So that part is true. I just don't know about the whole French guy. If it came
absurd
from him.
That it offends my senses. It offends my sensibility that people have been following him. This is a Glee Club kid. Okay, he's dramatic. I like Nick Fuentes clips. Like I like watching Real Housewives clips. And this is, by the way, the problem, as I've said, that heterosexual men cannot continue to follow theater boys. This is actually an illness in our society, is that people who are playing the part of men and are actually at their core theater boys and want to go to Congress and want to have platforms and would never fight wars, they are, for whatever reason, being listened to by actual men. This was just unbelievable.
Because Nick Fuentes, when you look at him, he's not the alpha male that you think of in your head. And so it's all like, how are they following him? And especially, this is the same man who hasn't been married, hasn't had a girlfriend, still a virgin, but had a whole cat boy with him. And he has these gropers. Like, everything about him is very not masculine. I don't even want to say feminine because I don't want to disrespect women. But everything about him is not masculine, but they follow him. It's all like, it's a cult. It's a cult. That's it. It's a cult.
To me that the statement was made and you couldn't see that it was going to end here. Of course, this is what happens. This is what happens when you elect or you decide that you're going to follow people who don't like women. That's the reality. They don't like women. So family offends them. And despite making that statement, he then tries to do a 180 and pretend he didn't just say what we heard him say. Here's what he said in a follow-up where he's going to yell at you for hearing what he just said, which is that it's not pedophilia. Take a listen.
This is not just about somebody was trafficking girls somewhere. That's not the story. The story is someone was trafficking girls to acquire blackmail to sell to Israel. That is the point. And that is what I said last night. I said, for someone to make it all about pedophilia, I said, it's kind of just like, it's not really true because, again, it does get away from what's happening there. It is not satanic pedophilia cult stuff. It is really run-of-the-mill prostitution and sex trafficking, but for a international political purpose. And it's
here's the funny part. It don't matter what the reason it is because he did it. Because trafficking is trafficking. Like, that's using and transporting somebody against their will. Mind you, the whole point is that Jeffrey Epstein groomed these girls when they were young and then would pass them around to his friends once they got a certain age. Like, that's a huge problem. Like, I don't understand why the whole Israel connection. And I know y'all gonna be like, oh, you're defending. Listen, if that's true that he was using that for blackmail for Israel or whatever, okay, we can talk about that. But the way that he's skipping over the whole trafficking and everything like that disturbs me. And it disturbs a lot of people.
It's important not to lose sight of that. I saw Marjorie Greene say this is about female victims. It's actually not about female victims. It's about the integrity of our government. You understand the difference? It's not to say we're not sympathetic. It's not to say that it's not criminal. It's not to say that it's good. I'm not defending it. I'm saying this is not Dateline. This is not a human interest story. This is a layered crime. It's one crime in the furtherance of a much more politically significant crime. But all these dumb.
I guess the order of it, the offense is what matters to him. But here's the thing, all of that can be true, right? Because obviously we do know people were covering up for Jeffrey Epstein. He got a sweet deal back in 2008. So we know that he was very well protected because he should have been in jail. However, we're not going to say one portion is more important than the other one, where factually we know, because again, it has not been proven with the connection with Israel, but factually we know that Jeffrey Epstein was messing with minors. What are we talking about?
I mean, they literally just don't have the IQ to understand that. For them, it's just about screeching about the same nonsense every day. They don't understand what they're talking about. They have no idea about anything. They hear something they don't like. Israel now, he got paid. I'm sorry. I've been doing this way longer than you. When did you come on the scene? When did you get red pilled? Last year, 10 minutes ago? When did you start talking about this stuff? Oh, now you're the expert and the gatekeeper. I'm done with that. I'm out. Seriously. You don't have to unfollow me because I'm out. This whole movement of Gen X idiots that are obsessed with satanic pedophile elite and psycho conspiracy kookery that doesn't even make sense, this Candace Owens bullshit, I'm out of all that. Seriously.
As he's peddling conspiracy theories.
I'm done with that.
Yeah, this is the kid who sat across from me and said that people that are sub-Saharan just don't have a high IQ. Let me tell you what he strikes me as. Nick strikes me as someone who was really bright in high school. Then he got a little bit of fame and he stopped reading books. That's it. This is what happens. People go, I made it. I don't have to learn anymore. I can just shut off my brain and to keep repeating the same talking points. Because if you do not understand that this is a cult, that the theology matters much more than the politics, okay? This like left-right dialectic, it means nothing until you understand the theology that is guiding these elites worldwide. And it is, in fact, occultic. It is, in fact, satanic.
Because it's not about party. At the end of the day, it's about right from wrong. I agree with her with this. I got to admit. And when he said that whole people from sub-Saharan Africa are dumb, you should have slapped them. But we'll talk about that another day.
And these are, in fact, ritualistic. It's all over. You need but read articles that are in your face or conduct even a minor incursion into the history of psychology, which was brought upon our shores, a minor incursion even to the establishment of Hollywood. It's right there in your face. And by the way, it is actually low IQ anti-Semitism, like you call it, to just go, oh, well, that's just all Jews. That's why I don't like Dave Smith. I don't even like Dave Smith, even though he's completely on our side on everything. It's him. That's actually what low IQ anti-Semitism is. Because to be clear, this occultic ritualistic stuff, these people are gypsies. They exist in every faith. Let's be clear. Aleister Crowley was a student of this. Did Aleister Crowley exist? Did Jack Parsons exist? Who established the Apollo program at NASA? Was he similarly conducting occult sexual rituals to establish a moon child? Did we then suddenly go to the moon after the Apollo program was established? So actually, Nick, it's you that is demonstrating that you have a low IQ, or rather that you are trying to tell your audience to stop learning. You're trying to...
Not Candace Owens defending the Jews. Remember, she said, you must be low IQ because you're the one who's saying it's all Jews, even Dave Smith. Like, she's right about that. She's right.
Convince them, and by the way, you're trying to convince them that Satan is a conspiracy theory. Keep focused on the minutia. The left versus right? It's Israel versus America. It's not bigger than that. There's no global conspiracy happening.
But he's also trying to convince us that he likes women. That's the other thing, but let's continue.
We weren't told that Satan's going to inherit the earth. This is why he also strikes me as someone who does not attend mass regularly. First, because of the way he speaks. There is such a thing as having a Catholic conscience. It's difficult to speak in the manner that he does all the time. If you were attending mass, which he should do, I think it would make him a better person. But far be it from me to give Nick Fuentes any suggestions, because the last time when I just asked him who he was dating, or like, hey, you're going to get married one day, he lost his mind. He started acting like a raging homosexual. calling me all sorts of things, of course, when he was in the comfort of his own home, and very much embodying the stereotype of women that you see on reality TV. This is actually was his reply to me for asking him about whether he wanted to get married one day.
Sit down and shut the f up, bitch. That's what a man has to say.
Just a general rule. If you have to say I'm a man, which he then follows up by saying I'm a real man, you probably aren't one. Okay. Hey, Brigitte, if you
Damn. Damn. And screaming that he does. He does the Stephen A. Smith thing. You know, don't get me wrong with the whole yelling and screaming. But this just also proves that the guy just rambles off shit and people swallow it, eat it up. And it's all like, y'all, do y'all actually pay attention? Because there's a lot of things that Nick will say and then he'll totally backtrack. Because back in October, he was talking about, we need to release the files. We need to release them. And how, you know, all this pedophilia and everything like that. And now he's saying, well, Jeffrey Epstein, he wasn't that bad. There's even a recent clip from like a day ago where he's saying Jeffrey Epstein was a cool guy. Now you're praising him? Man.
got a suit to prove you're a woman. You're probably not one. Real men, their natural inclination is to protect women and children. That's a fact. A woman's natural inclination is to respect men when they are exhibiting the attributes of true masculinity, protecting women and children. Not getting up on a platform and trying to soft sell definition of pedophilia by saying, well, it wasn't 5-year-olds, and so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, to that clip of him yelling, all I can ever see is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Take a look at this.
Sit down and shut the f*** up, bitch. That's what a man has to say.
A real man. That's how I talk to my sisters when they took my shirt when I was in high school, and just yell, scream at them and point. Anyway, it's a call for actual real men to stand up and become leaders and to help us fight what we are fighting, which is a spiritual war. Yes, it does matter. And perhaps the wrong person to deliver this line from which movie, I forgot which movie this is, but it is true.
Okay, I don't want to play the movie clip because I might get a strike. But again, Candace Owens, I got to give her a prop. She completely annihilated Nick Fuentes because, again, he feels that he's able just to go on and just say anything and have these people eating up the palms of his hands. And it's all like, wait, are y'all actually paying attention to what this fool is saying? It's very disturbing. And at this point, Nick feels like he can't be canceled. There's nothing that he can say. The right has built this group of people that, oh, we're anti-woke, we're anti-cancel culture until it affects them, but they're anti-cancel culture. So they're able to say the most vile, disgusting things. And it's all like, whoa, 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 you don't want to be too woke. You don't want to be a part of cancel culture, so you can't check them on anything they say. And it's all like, no, these are people that you should definitely, you don't have to cancel them, but you better put them in their place because they're not going to be able to spread this to our youth. That's another thing that we don't think about. And especially in these right-wing echo chambers, when it comes to these white boys, oh, I'm going there. They get sucked up in the Aiden Rosses, the Charlie Kirks, the Nick Fuentes, and they grow up very hateful, very spiteful, feel like the world owes them something. Like, it's very dangerous. Those white boys are very impressionable. You got to be careful. Listen, y'all might not like what I say, but it needed to be said. Please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all for being here. And oh, hold on. I almost forgot. Don't forget about the meetup in April 10th through the 12th. We are meeting up in Vegas and we're going to have a good time. Make sure you guys hit me up for details. But other than that, y'all, we out of here. Come back for more.